This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. I remember reading an article where Joe Bonamassa basically was talking about essentially the guitar industry in general being mostly geared towards selling nostalgia to folks like me and possibly folks like you as well. What I'm so used to is stuff that is based on something that already existed. And particularly in the guitar plugin world, we see manufacturers spend, loads of time getting these photorealistic icons that look like the original amplifier. And in some cases it might be the case that, like, certainly for me, most of these things I've never tried in real life. I've never tried a Morgan AC20. I've never played, a PV5150 in real life. I played a Vox AC30 a little bit, not loads. So for me it's kind of interesting, like the guitar plugin world is based on being like super accurate to these things that I've not really got any experience with. And why? And this is what is interesting about this. So when Blob Audio first messaged me, they've been messaging me for quite a while, and I've sort of held off because I was like not really getting the concept totally. I was a little bit unsure of it. But now, having spent some time with the plugin, they sponsored this video and they've let me try the plugin for free. I can kind of see like there is this whole other window of stuff where like these things don't have to be rooted in the reality of stuff, right? When you plug into an audio interface and change your gain and all that sort of stuff, you're starting to break away from what a real amp could do anyway. And so why be tied down by that, I guess, is to me what I understand to be Blob Audio's philosophy. And I kind of get it now, having spent some time with it. So I've spent about half an hour just immersing myself in the Blob Audio world of BLOBNAROK. This is their plugin which has 3 amps. I'm going to take you through some of the features of it. There'll be things that I miss for sure, but what I really am taking away from it is that actually I think plugin manufacturers, if we support companies like this, I guess is going to be the main thing, might get more adventurous with what they kind of come out with, because I think it's kind of a cool idea that instead of like your typical British American flavored tones, like that's kind of like the paradigm. Instead, why can't it be just anything else like Norse mythology? I think you can use the code Cordy20 to get 20% off of it, but there's a 7-day free trial if you kind of hear anything you like about this plugin. For me particularly, the second lead tone that I was dialing in there using the Odin amp, I thought actually listening back has a real nice flavour to it. And particularly I was using the Loki amp, which is actually a bass amp for the cleans at the start as well. I'm liking the ambient reverb, the ambient delay as well. This is a plugin that's, I think, something I might return back to and kind of mess around with more, because it's quite an interesting way to dial in tones where you're really just focusing on, does this thing sound like what I want it to sound, rather than is it accurate to something in life, which I don't really have a very good real life thing to base it on anyway. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts.
I think I've been so used to the idea that an amp sim, a plugin, had to look like something in the real world or close to it, that when Blob Audio asked me if I would check out their plugin BLOBNARok, I was kind of thinking, like, what is this about? And, you know, I was kind of unsure. I've spent a little bit of time putting together that intro track with it, though, and I can kind of see it's kind of refreshing in some ways not to know exactly, you know, because do I really know what a plexi sounds like? Maybe, maybe not. I have an idea, but this is just a bit different. And the only thing that really I have reference points for are like what these mics might sound like. So like an SM57, I'm going to assume is a bit brighter, a ribbon mic a bit darker, and, you know, these other bits and pieces. So there is some element of familiarity there. And then over here, we got a reverb which has some stuff which looks like fairly typical kind of reverb parameters and delay parameters. So there's elements there that look quite familiar. And I guess like here, the drive, compressor, that sort of stuff. However, like the amps themselves are not particularly based, you know, visually on anything. They don't tell you in the manual. So it's kind of up to you to get what you want out of it, and that was kind of refreshing for me. So in terms of what I put together for the intro, I'm on this Thor's Hammer kind of third amp. What's kind of cool about this is you've got like low gain, mid gain and high gain switches on the same amp. Anyway, so that was one thing, and then the other, the JC Lead 2, I kind of used the other amp. A slightly different mic combination there, and again, same with this amp. So there are 3 amps. This one is a bass amp, essentially, that you can so if you wanted to, let's just turn off our verb and delay for that. Got a Leslie here as well. So that's built into the amp. But it's actually also quite cool as a clean, so I used this for the very first tone. Got a tuner here, as in like detune. And a gate. Let's see what this looper does. So this is quite an interesting concept to have a looper in the DAW as well, right? So That's a really cool feature, actually, to have a looper like that, you know, and come up with parts. Especially in standalone mode. In DAW that it works is also cool, but save that. I think it's just, I'm enjoying this kind of fresh experience of, I don't know, just I'm thinking more about the tone rather than what it should sound like or anything like that. Let's just, if I go here, save preset, JC clean comp. It's not necessarily something that I'm feeling like I'd use all the time, but for certain so yeah, I guess it could do heavier things as well, but that's not what I've found I'm, you know, leaning towards. I'm not the heaviest player ever. And if you're into that chunky stuff, then there is that. I've got a compressor on here. I've got things kind of dialed in a bit darker here, but as you see, like any other some other cool quality of life features over here if you're listening in headphones. That puts it in a bit of a space, and there's like a doubler. Need to be careful with that though. an arpeggiator. So yeah, a really pretty fully featured thing. Some things that you don't really find on any other. And some really interesting vibes. Save that preset. Save preset. JC mid gain lead. There's loads of other presets as well. Anyway, yeah, like a load of stuff to get involved with. They've given me a code for you to check out if you want to do that. There's also a 7-day free trial. But yeah, I think just a refreshing thing where, you know, things don't have to look like stuff in the real world. You know, not everything needs to be compared to a real life thing. Not like it's suffering because of it, it's just still a really cool little 2 bars of counting. Really cool. Yeah, I've loads more to dig into really, but I'm enjoying the little universe that the guys at Blob Audio have created here. I think it's a really interesting thing. Yes, this is a sponsored video, and yes, that, you know, matters, but at the same time it is just interestingly different, I think, and some cool sounding stuff in there. Something I'm going to dig into a bit more, I think. I'll catch you in another video soon. Let me know your thoughts on it. Have you heard this? Have you seen other demos of it? And do you want to see, you know, plugin creators being a bit more adventurous with stuff like this? Because I think it's quite an interesting concept, to me personally at least. And does it get you in the vibe? Does it get you in the mood for creating? I think that is another part of the plugin world that is kind of a little bit underexplored. You've got your tuner here as well, obviously. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you in another video soon. Thanks to Blob Audio, and cheers for stopping by.